So you have just come back. You visited Ukraine.
Yes.
You were there how long?
Just a couple, actually in the country, just a couple weeks.
When Olathe's Paige Burrows found out what her friends in Ukraine were requesting, she was a little shocked.
Just one of them can save a human life, so it's important.
Tourniquets and trauma kits for people living in Ukraine dealing with a war going on around them.
One of my goals is to help determine what are some other things we here in the U.S. can help with in the future.
The former Ukraine Peace Corps volunteer organized a fundraiser. Peace Corps volunteer.
What?
I'm sorry, what?
In recent years, she's raised more than $32,000 for relief efforts. If you would like to help or donate.
When I lived there in 2010 and 2012, Viktor Yanukovych was the president. It was like when Yulia Tymoshenko was in prison and there were protests during that. Oh, yeah. So
when was the Maidan revolution?
That was the
24?
So I left at the
14?
end of 2012, and that was technically started December of 2013.
Okay. So 2014-ish.
Yeah. 2014 is the year that
everything.
So yeah, that was hard to watch, obviously from back here. But that was when Russia first invaded Ukraine in the east.
In the modern era.
Yes, right. Most recently. So
they also invaded in 1919.
Yeah, they just
twice.
Another thing,
actually, because Russia was doing it. So this is right after World War I. The Russian Revolution, the Reds and the Whites. Anyway, there's two sides, and the West intervenes. Like, I don't know that anyone knows this, but America and Britain sent troops to fight in the Russian Civil War in 1919, in that era.
Sounds like us, though.
We were picking sides and trying to stop the communists. But anyway, the Reds invaded Ukraine, which had tried to break away and become independent because Russia was like collapsing. So they become independent. Then the Reds invaded, and then the Whites are like, no, we're going to invade and take over what was a Red territory. And then eventually it becomes the Ukrainian SSR, the Socialist Republic. And then
there's been a lot of...
it's been taken over.
There's so much history and horrible stuff that's happened there. And that's part of the reason why Ukrainians are able to be so strong and resilient, because they, for generations, have had to be.
Part of the Soviet stuff was like, you can't be like nationalistic. You have to just be like Russian. Soviet. You have to speak Russian.
And that's not just in Ukraine. That's everywhere.
If you want to write something about Ukrainian nationalism, we're going to kill you or send you to the
disappear you
or something. So yes.
On that note, Jeff, I brought some gifts.
On that note, we cue the Vodka.
This is a souvenir that I brought for you.
Okay. What do we have here?
It's called Ukrainian Traditions. It's from Roshen. Roshen, which is a Ukrainian. Don't open that now. That you can open that and share that.
I see.
What you can you and Aaron can feed those to each other later. That's what I want you to do.
Would you like me to film that later?
I'm only thinking of the Ukrainian word for it.
Just say that. We'll translate.
It's a company that makes sweets.
You couldn't think of the word factory?
No.
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka. Okay, and then I brought this bottle back.
God, what do we
that
have here?
Survived the plane ride
from a war zone.
From a war zone. Last time I came back, I brought 3 bottles and 1. Oh yeah, that.
I think we had brandy, right?
Yeah, I brought back. I guess I brought maybe 3 bottles of vodka, but 1 broke in my bags. And then that
did it
bottle
break,
of brandy.
or did the baggage handlers?
Oh no, it broke. It was shattered glass, and my stuff all smelled like vodka.
Did they drink most of it and then break what was left?
Maybe.
Could be that.
So this big ass bottle was a gift to me from one of my Ukrainian volunteers, and it's called Hetman Vodka. It's something historical. Please don't ask me what it is.
I was just reading about Hetman.
So you can. So it's got this guy Petro.
I don't remember it, but I saw it on Wikipedia recently.
Yeah. It's they're soldiers, and it's got this guy Petro from 1616 to 1622. It says limited premium edition, changes ice color. What?
I'm sorry, what?
I don't know what that means.
Changes ice color?
Changes ice color.
What is that?
We're gonna need some ice. I don't know.
It changes the color of ice?
This is even for Ukraine. Like usually, most of the bottles you get are not quite as.
It looks like a 750 ml. Is it bigger than that? Is it 1 liter?
It's 1,000.
It's a liter.
Yeah, sure.
What do you mean, sure? 1,000 milliliters? Yeah. Pretty sure that's a liter.
So this is from the city of Lviv, which is in the western part of the country. Just spent a night there on the way into Ukraine and on the way out. And it's the first time that I was ever there for more than just like passing through. And it's a beautiful historic city.
That's where the IMF guy is.
Скажи все ж таки, де президент?
Ні, це традиція.
Yeah, it's just
near Poland.
Yeah, it's about an hour from the border. So, because I had my friend. Well, now some of them were friends. Now they're and some were volunteers. But we're all after what we did. We're all friends now. That they came and picked me up from the border. We drove back and stayed a night in Lviv. So that's where this is made and bottled. We're gonna need ice. I'm nervous. I don't know what that means. It changes ice color.
Hetman is like the title that Cossacks used. It's kind of like general and
Right.
Cossack.
Okay.
So this says the commanders of the Zaporizhian Cossacks were titled something Hetman. So that's where I saw it. Because I was looking at a like history of Ukraine the other day about like when was it the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, and then it was Kiev and Rus, which like when you trace back Russia far enough, essentially Russia began in Kiev.
Yeah.
Because it's Kiev and Rus.
And I think that there's something to do with like the Ukrainian Cyrillic alphabet is actually older than the Russian Cyrillic alphabet, or there's something
That
where
would make sense
some of the origins
it's Greek far enough back, and so it just makes sense geographically.
So some of the origins are I don't even like saying this stuff anymore because it's just like such an old argument, but I'll say it. The like idea that Russia or that Ukraine like isn't really a nationality, or that there isn't like history or any of this stuff. Like,
well, when you spend hundreds of years making it illegal to say Ukrainian is a nationality,
it's like, but they very much have a very rich history and a lot of traditions. And so let's do some of those traditions.
Let's do that.
I'm nervous to see what it does to ice. I don't know that it'll drink it. It does something weird to ice.
That's a good. It's alcohol.
Smells like victory.
Like napalm.
It actually doesn't. Doesn't really smell like much.
Tequila remnant in there. No.
Okay, either it doesn't have a smell or I have COVID. The vodka will kill the COVID.
Are you getting ice?
Yeah. You have so much meat.
This is the size of glass where.
I just want to see one.
All right. Let's prepare it.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. I don't think it does anything. Change the color.
It makes it disappear entirely. Did I read it wrong? No, I'm pretty sure it's like
ice changes color.
Ice changes the color of the vodka?
Well, it says ice in the middle, and it says changes color.
Premium, limited edition. Ice changes color. I was fully ready for a magic show, damn it. They're like, look, if you put ice in our vodka, first of all, rude. But second of all,
is it?
I
guess it is. You would put ice
watering it down.
You'd put ice in bourbon, though.
You don't put ice in vodka in Ukraine.
It really smells like it should be quite smooth.
It really doesn't smell.
It barely smells. You get up in there, you get a little bit of a smell, but it's not much.
Get up in there. All right, so our first toast is, this is a very big shot. First of all, Jeff, do you have pickles or something?
Of course I have pickles. I have like 5 kinds of pickles. Are we shooting?
Are we?
Let's give it a sip.
Будьмо.
Ні. Це перша традиційна чарка, яка п'ється до дна. Ну хіба що ви бажаєте навмисно образити господаря?
Well, it's rude to the host.
I'm the host.
Did you not just watch that show?
I'm the host. It's pretty good.
Do dna, Jeff. It's za zustrich, which is to our meeting. Ukrainian vodka is sweeter
It is sweet.
than our vodka here.
It is a little sweet.
I learned that the hard way when I first came back.
And you're like, let's do vodka shots. And everyone's like, what are we doing?
I did that. So when I moved back at the end of 2012, and then we went up to Chicago for Thanksgiving with my family, and all of the like kids went out to the bar the night before Thanksgiving, and I was like,
Vodka.
I'm getting a round of vodka shots. Not realizing, because I had never ordered vodka shots in the US, not realizing that our vodka is truly terrible. And so I made everybody take.
What are you're telling me Smirnoff isn't good?
So I made everybody do it, and then I was like really apologetic because it was so bad.
What's the weirdest thing?
That doesn't even have a bite at all.
It really doesn't.
It's got a little tiny burn.
Just why I want to sip it. It's like, this is good. I want to make this last longer.
You have so much meat. Well, we've got 1,000 milliliters
We don't have to drink it all right now. What's the weirdest thing you've ever ordered at a bar?
in the U.S.
Anywhere, I don't know. I can tell you mine probably is I ordered a tequila and Coke.
That's. I mean, I guess that
I
sounds
was at a
gross, but
strip club and I was 21. And I was like...
you're trying to think of something really cool.
And at the time,
Tequila and Coke.
all I really drank was like tequila mixed with Mountain Dew. Pretty heavy on Mountain. This is what 21-year-old me was drinking.
Yeah.
This is what 19-year-old me was drinking. I was barely 21. We're going to the strip club.
Right.
And I was like, well, they don't have Mountain Dew. What do I order? I don't know. Like, really, you should have ordered like rum and Coke.
Right.
If you're going to do that. And I was like, tequila and I don't know, Sprite. And they're like, we don't have Sprite. It's like,
What do you have?
I
Water
just kind
or
of panicked.
Coke?
I was like, I don't know, Coke. And they're like, you want a tequila and Coke? I was like, yeah, all right.
I'm surprised I didn't say
In
Coca-Cola.
retrospect, I don't feel like it was terrible, but I have not had that.
I'm not a.
in
I
a
can't
while.
sip on tequila.
I like mezcal. Mezcal's pretty good.
So one time in Ukraine, we took shots. I didn't order it. Somebody got it for me, but it was like
Sex on the beach.
no. It was like lit. It was liquor and it was lit on fire, and then you shoot that, but then they flip it over, and then you use a straw to like breathe in the fumes.
Wait, okay, so your shot's on fire
Yeah,
and you shoot
but it's not like a tiny shot glass. It's like a brandy glass.
Okay.
Can't remember what those are called.
A snifter?
Sure. Yeah, it's lit on fire. Then they like I don't know.
Then you blow it.
cover it maybe.
Okay.
Cover it, put it out. You shoot it, and then they flip the glass over, so there's still like fumes.
Okay.
And then you take a straw, and they're like, okay, now you suck the air out. So anyway,
somebody handed you a straw and told you to suck. I'll do it.
ended up in the hospital the next day.
Interesting.
Unrelated.
Because of the fumes?
No, because of the sausage I ate when I got home. It was bad.
You ate a bad sausage. So somebody gave you a straw, and then you promptly ate a bad sausage. This is an interesting.
Say a bad sausage.
Not
A
a.
lot of bad
You ate many bad sausages. This isn't making the story better.
No, it really was. I ended up, I think it was actually the day after, like 2 days after. I thought it was really hungover the day after, which probably was part of it.
But it was just a bad sausage.
But then I ended up in the hospital for like 5 days with a severe intestinal infection.
This was in Ukraine?
Yeah.
What's in their bad sausage?
Germs, I don't know.
Germs.
I looked at E. coli, but honestly, E. coli sounded like a vacation compared to what I was going through. So.
Where do you want to go on vacation this year? E. coli sounds pretty good.
I did lose a lot of weight right before graduation.
What graduation for the?
I was a teacher.
Yeah, but so this is the
the high school.
middle school kids.
No, I mean it's a village school, so it was,
It was
all of
everything.
them.
Okay, so
Yeah, so I taught 5th through 11th grades.
Okay.
They only have 11.
don't
Yeah,
need a 12th. They're more efficient.
yeah.
So it's all the same.
I think
They
the
just
kids are a
stop.
little bit older when they start, though, because
So
I feel like some of my 11th graders were
35
like,
years old.
35.
They've
Nah.
quit smoking years ago.
Actually, I did have a
That's in the last episode. In the 4th grade.
Ms. Page.
See our previous episode about that. We were set to film on Friday. This is Sunday. And then the power went out. Is Putin trying to stop us? Does Putin
It's
control the power
possible.
grid?
So there was one time where I was like extra vocal about something or did an interview that aired or something. It was like the next morning or something. Like a huge water main next to my house like blew up or whatever it was. So I don't know, it's funny. Yeah. But
KGB. Could be.
honestly, they had the chance and I was over there if they really wanted to take me out. It wouldn't have been that hard. But
Right. So you have just come back. You visited Ukraine.
yes.
You were there how long?
just actually in the country just a couple weeks.
But you hadn't been since 2012.
2019.
Oh, you went back in 2019.
Yeah, been back to visit. When I went in 2019, I was able to fly into Ukraine, whereas now I had to fly into Warsaw and then
Sneak across
by
the border.
car. No, I didn't sneak.
So you went back to a war zone for 2 weeks.
I did.
Partially to bring supplies.
So I've been fundraising since the most recent attacks in February of last year. And
What are we up to? Your fundraising total?
total since February of last year, just past $55,000. As an individual, I've done a lot of work on volunteer work with other organizations, and I recently joined the board for a nonprofit in Kansas City called Stand with Ukraine KC. So, and I'm trying to transition to focus more on larger scale projects and stuff through them and with other organizations I've networked with. So, I've been involved with them and volunteered with them in a lot of other groups as well. But yeah, as far as just individual efforts, not to say that they didn't help me with anything that I did or anything, but like I have sent over $55,000. I'll put it that way.
All of your own money. No,
Well, that's not including any of my own money. I don't even want to figure out how much that's been because that's.
Could you lean over, if you're going to lean to the side, lean to this side, I think.
I want to be out of the picture, actually. I actually just like it to be. The internet would prefer that. I was somewhere around 25, 30,000 before the trip and knew that I would be able to raise a lot more by going, just by people knowing that I was going and knowing that I was going to, a lot of people would give me money because they knew I was getting it to where it needed to go. Well, now when they knew I was physically going to get it to where it needed to go. And I, had built up a lot of credibility by showing all this work I've been doing and everything. So for a few different reasons, I decided I was going to go over.
How did this decision go? Are there people around you that are like, don't go?
Yeah, I did have some people that said don't go, or they were worried. I mean, it was kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of surprised that anybody thought it was shocking because I have 2 young kids, but if it weren't for my kids, I would have been there last year. To be honest, it's better that I wasn't because I was able to do so much more by staying here. I've been thinking a lot about that. I don't remember what it's called. Got a degree in psychology and took more, psychology and moral philosophy and all that kind of those classes. And, there's that there's train tracks and it's like you have the decision to pull the lever and there's a train track this way and there's one person strapped to the tracks.
Trolley problem.
Sure, yeah, trolley, yeah. I'm obviously not running a trolley over myself, but Jeff, stop. Dude, you were gonna go. Should have let me stick with the train.
You'd rather you die and save 3 others.
This is supposed to be serious.
I'm not. How is it not serious?
I know exactly what you're making. Okay, so it really is a I don't know, great or good thing, I guess. And I know that that's not easy for a lot of people to understand, and that's okay. Not everybody has to do that. Not everybody has to understand.
Some of us are cowards. We don't get it.
You said it. But the trip, it ended up being incredibly efficient. We got so much done with the networks that I had already established, and then the groups that I was working with, the volunteer groups and nonprofits I was working with over there. Because the big thing is, it's not just going and buying stuff over there. Logistics is a huge thing. The Ukrainian military is like at least two or three times the size that it was. And the fact that a lot of Ukrainians don't have cars because they didn't need them previously, because of public transportation. So there's a postal organization called Nova Pochta, which has been doing a great job for transporting some supplies. However, a lot of the guys that I help a lot of civilians, and honestly, until this trip, I really hadn't helped soldiers directly so much. I mean, I'd helped fill cars with underwear and socks and stuff like that, but I really hadn't done much with the military. I'd primarily focused on civilians because that's just the connections that I had and everything. But as far as the soldiers go, we were helping a lot of people, a lot of the people on the front lines, and you can she is out. I want to sleep like that
on my crotch. Inappropriate.
Don't tell Aaron.
Inappropriate. It's too bony. You would. Anyway, the war.
The war. Sometimes you can send supplies to this Nova Pochta facility, but the guys are 2 hours from there. That means that they have to pull at least 2 of them to leave their positions, leave their team, and go pick this thing up and then bring it back, and pay for fuel and all that. So we were really strategic with what we were doing and where we were going, and we're kind of doing this little pinball around at these different groups and dropping stuff off. And another kind of goal on this trip was to document as much as I could, because I knew I didn't know for sure, but I knew that some of the areas, no matter where I was in the country, were not going to be really well photographed or had been visited by press at all, if
or had been photographed for Russian propaganda purposes.
Right. So busted. I wanted to do that as well, and so we and they wanted me to do that. They wanted to tell me stories, and they wanted me to see a lot of this stuff and be able to come back and share it.
I imagine they probably want things documented.
Yeah. I kind of thought that I was going to feel guilty about leaving or feel like I didn't feel like I did enough while I was there, but by the end I was I'm ready to go home. I was so exhausted just from working nonstop, and then anytime we weren't, we probably spend an average, I need to figure it out, but I think we spend an average of at least 6 hours a day in the car all over the place
booking it.
And then when we weren't working, driving to buy stuff, driving to drop stuff off, we were doing social stuff because a lot of people also wanted to, commanders from different battalions or friends of other volunteers wanted to meet, and because it wasn't just me, it was just like an American volunteer being there who cared about Ukraine.
People are over there doing stuff the way like you're doing stuff. Is there
Americans
like
or foreign nationals?
Yeah, are there a lot of people doing that? Or is it pretty rare.
There are a lot. Most of them are with organizations, as they should be, because I don't recommend anybody going over like I did unless you have all of the connections and networks and can
Don't
speak the
just
language.
show up and be like, I'm gonna help.
You can end up being more of a burden and risk to them. Most of them are with organizations, and a lot of the organizations tend to be a little bit more toward the West. There are huge volunteer networks of Ukrainians. But as far as foreign nationals, I personally know a few Americans that are over there fighting, volunteers, not mercenaries. I don't know if I shared them. I tweet and I do a lot of social media. That's how I've done a lot of my fundraising and activism and stuff. When people ask me if I'm nervous about going to Ukraine, and it's like, meanwhile, back in the U.S., and it's just
mass
like
shooting at a Walmart,
like,
mass shooting
right,
at a Target, mass
in a
shooting
movie
at a
theater,
concert.
in a school, in a the gun thing is it's different. But I probably, if I ended up in the wrong city in the U.S., would be at much higher risk of.
You'd rather be in Ukraine than East St. Louis.
I didn't say that.
Do you have any highlights of equipment or materials, supplies you're bringing over, like night vision or drones or something like?
So there are very strict laws about exporting a lot of the stuff that you just mentioned. So
ITAR.
yes, there you go.
I know about ITAR.
So I tried to avoid that. I've pretty much stuck with just purely humanitarian. Everything that I physically brought over, like money that I fundraised before the trip, went to the most basic things, just food, toiletries, medicines, medical supplies, evacuations, surgeries. While I was there, we did a lot of all of that same stuff, but then did do some clothing for military groups, helmets. So when I was there, I had money that I had fundraised separately as an individual, and then I was also facilitating a rapid response grant through Stand With Ukraine KC. Through a 501c3, they're limited in general, and in general, you can't do anything that's like military related. So all of that
guns, but
like anything that could be provided by the military, no. So basically, I just didn't use any of that for military related whatsoever. Children cannot go back to school to in-person lessons unless their school has a bomb shelter, and my school where I taught doesn't, because why would they? And so I helped purchase furniture like benches and shelving and so like very basic stuff for this shelter, and purchasing food and helping more with like internally displaced refugees and stuff. Whereas like money that I fundraise myself, I don't have like restrictions,
and
so I was able to
buy whatever you want.
No, but I did. No, but like I did helmets, for example, for the military, because they go through those either by shrapnel falling or debris falling on them, or Russia uses phosphorus weapons.
Willie Pete.
What?
White phosphorus.
Oh, yeah.
Call it Willie Pete.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm not hip.
I'm so hip.
Yeah.
I'm the hippest guy around.
I know you are. Yeah, the phosphorus, so it melts their helmets. Things like that are, it's technically military, even though it's just like
helmet.
protecting his head, their heads, but.
It's kind of shocking that they don't have enough helmets because of all the military aid, and like we're sending them tanks. It's like we haven't sent them enough helmets.
I've read through some of the bills. We and other countries don't just send a bunch of money. We're not just like wire transferring money.
Well,
we're sending them old equipment, and it's big artillery and big equipment. We're not sending them all these like little things. Now, there are other countries who are providing things like that. Again, like I mentioned earlier, the military is tripled in size. So you already have to issue this many more helmets, and then they're going through them because now we're on past 16 months of this war. The guys that I'm talking about have been on the front line a year or more, so.
Did you meet any of your old students when you?
I did.
Did any of them stab you repeatedly with a tattoo gun?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yes, I did get one of my former students,
So, what's his name?
Kolya,
And he was your student in 2011?
11. The whole time I was there, 2010, 2012. Probably like 7th to 9th grade, I would guess.
Okay.
Quiet, respectful, didn't speak a lot of English.
Even though it was your job to teach him English.
Yeah.
So, seems like a self-burn there.
But anyways, he's a very talented tattoo artist. He's in the military now, but he's currently, or when I was there, was doing the territorial defense. So he was like working and doing training in this town on the other side of my village, but his studio is in the town on the other side. He had some free time, and so I met up with him, and it was weird because I haven't seen him since he was a child. Saw him, and he came out to meet me in the center of this town, and I think I said, like, Kola, you're a man. He's like 27 or something now. But he's like 6'4", too, so that was also shocking because that happened after I left.
So what did he tattoo on you? What do you got?
So we kind of, it's a bomb, and it says US, and like a little heart, and it says UA, and it's kind of like, why are you laughing, Jeff?
It's a bomb with a heart. It's a fun
It's a tiny little heart, and the heart is it's between
Bomb
the
with
US
a
and
heart.
Ukraine. It's kind of like
It's a fun juxtaposition.
It's kind of silly, but it's kind of like, together, even though there are bombs. Like, I hate talking about meanings of tattoos, but that's what it's supposed to
What
mean.
are your other tattoos mean? Let's break them all down.
Now we're no, but and then they all, a lot of my friends were like, well, when we win, you'll have to put like the victory years. And I was like, no, when we win, I'm gonna get like a whole new tattoo. I was like, I'm gonna get the trident like right here, and they were like,
trident?
okay, which I'm not gonna do, but
What will you do when they win?
I don't know, I haven't decided yet.
Decided.
So no, it's really cool, and I was really proud of him, and I did get to meet up with one of my other students who's in the Army, and he's a medic, and I've been in touch with him and been helping him with some stuff, and I got to see him on my last day, and he's also a man now.
They've all become men. This is very
crazy.
interesting.
And his English was great. And he apologized. It's so funny because he apologized for his English, and I was like, this is the most I've spoken English in like 2 weeks. So it was great. But that was kind of bittersweet because he definitely is more involved in frontline stuff, and
A medic.
yeah, and he's going to areas that are very dangerous, but we talk on a very regular basis still, but it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you, and I'm so proud of you, and you've done all these things, and you're these guys are like these brave men, but
Unlike these cowards over here.
right, no, also at the same time, like, it's scary. So anyway, but it was really neat to see them. And I saw some former students when I was in my village, and it was really weird because I had my friend Natasha, who's not from that area, with me, and we're walking through the village, and I had all these people like running up like, Paige, you're here, and all this stuff.
Everyone knows you.
And I was like, and I even leaned over to her and I was like, just so you know, it wasn't quite this exciting when I lived here. It's like a lot of people didn't, like, they were a little more nervous about me and stuff, but like now, because they know everything I've been doing and all that stuff, and know that I can speak the language a lot better now too. So it was kind of funny. But
you speak Ukrainian better now than you did.
I do, actually, because over the last year, I've been listening to it more. I really didn't know how to read it and write it much at all. When I lived there, it was just like verbal communication, but I've learned how to do that a lot because I've been writing back and forth with, like, every day, reading and writing back and forth with the Ukrainians. So I'm not great at it, but I'm definitely a lot better. She is just like...
She's pretty sleepy.
All right, Jeff.
Next one. What do we have here? Oh, somebody's awake now.
No. Do you want a fresh one?
No, it's fine. It's just the wrapper.
Okay.
What is a Chervoli Mac Roshen?
Red poppy.
Oh, is this like opium?
I brought you opium chocolate, Jeff.
It's not bad. Papa, you keep touching my screen. What is NAFO? Can you explain NAFO for the fans?
Let me shoot this vodka first
Before I explain this, I need another shot.
I'm excited about it. And I'm going to share this with all my NAFO fellas. So I'm excited to.
NAFOs?
No, they're just NAFO fellas.
NAFO
Jeff.
fellows. Don't shorten.
Some people say NAFO, but that's ridiculous.
Because it's NATO. It's a play
You're
on
right.
NATO, so it's NAFO.
All right, Jeff, take your glass. The second shot, traditionally, is to friendship. Druha za druha. To the friendship, our friendship, and the friendship of the U.S. and Ukraine. And your wife's face on the shot glass.
Do I have to shoot it? Mm-hmm. I have to?
Yeah.
Ready?
It's so smooth.
NAFO is a lot of dogs. It's dogs on the internet, I think. Is that right?
North Atlantic Fellas Organization, founded to disprove Russian propaganda and to fundraise. And I believe the original group was either the Georgian Legion or the International Legion that they started fundraising for. But it sounds silly, but it's actually because it is. It's really silly, but it has grown into hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world. And it's basically just people who you don't have to necessarily like have a connection to Ukraine or love Ukraine, but you can just be against Russia's genocide of the Ukrainian people. Each member of NAFO, basically you make a donation to the Georgian Legion, and then there are forgers who you just show them your donation and they like forge your fella, which is this dog avatar.
What kind
and
of
it's
dog?
a Shiba Inu.
Shiba Inu?
Yeah.
Can it be a different dog? Could it be this dog?
Some people have different dogs. Yeah, you can have your own pet on there. Some people have there's a cats division.
So you're a big member of NAFO. You never get in any trouble. Everyone there likes you. Is that about right?
The thing with the fighting the Russian propaganda is we do it with memes and wit. And so NAFO fellas are some of the funniest people. We're trolls, but like smart trolls. Not to toot our own little horns. It got a lot of attention when I believe it's the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense had like tweeted about it. And then there's a Wikipedia page for it now. And there's articles written about it because it makes Votniks, Russians, and tankies and everybody like so mad. Tankies are like, they like tend to side with the whole like communist, all that kind of stuff. Like they're not necessarily Russians. They tend to be like supporters of that whole USSR and communism and all that stuff. They get mad. And so that's the thing is they all think that we're part of the CIA.
She's definitely CIA.
Because we are. Yesterday, I have a battalion of guys, like a group were hit, where they were living hit recently and they lost a lot of supplies. And I've been stressed out because Natasha, who is a co-founder of a nonprofit that I work with and partner with in Ukraine, we've just been trying to help them like restock on this stuff because they're right on the front. It's one of the groups that I actually just visited about a half a mile away from the active trenches. Half a mile or a mile. Doesn't really matter. It was
About
really
a click.
close.
About a click or so.
I decided to post it on, that I needed some help on there, and within 9 hours had raised $1,500 from all over the world, and just because of this silly little, dog group, and that's the kind of the beauty of it. And they've raised through different organizations, through St. Javelin, through the Georgian Legion, International Legion, all these different ones. Millions and millions of dollars have been raised by NAFO fellows. It's absolutely been a critical part in helping Ukraine win this war. So it's silly and it's silly to explain, but
It matters.
it really is. When the part that social media and the internet has played in this war is insane compared to like any other war with one of the world powers involved, and the information war, especially with Russia, who is pretty well known for their propaganda.
Not a great thing to be well known for.
No, but because they suck at it too.
Yeah,
They're
you don't
so
want to
bad
be
at it.
well known for lying.
But they are, and not just this war. They've just been known like that for a long time. It works, and
Has it ever backfired on you?
on me.
The NAFO people?
I feel like you're digging at one particular thing. Did I tell you about something?
You did, yeah.
Oh, when I posted the picture. Okay, so
You made fun of them a little bit.
because the Estonian prime minister said something like, behind every fella is like a person that cares about Ukraine or something. And so all these NAFO fellows were posting their avatar, their little fella dog avatar, and then a picture of themselves, which NAFO is like, most people are completely anonymous, but some people...
Russia
that
seems a little too busy to come talk
that
to
and like
somebody in a
most
foreign
of, and I
country.
think we've
They
all
can't.
learned that like most of the people that will like talk shit to you and on the internet that are pro-Russia are either like 15-year-old boys or like incels in their mom's basement who actually won't talk to another human being at all. Because I've been fundraising, I changed my profile picture to me, just for like transparency and credibility and stuff, because people are more likely to send money to a human than a dog, a cartoon dog. So I thought it'd be funny to post the picture of my fella and then a picture that a Votnik had created of what they think a NAFO fella is, which is like this like naked big boy in his mom's basement with like rainbows and Ukraine stuff and NAFO and all this like old computer and everything, because that's how they just like to think that we're all just like sad dudes in basements. I mean, the thing is, I do work out of my basement, so I kind of am like a little bit like that, and I am sad. So,
You're sad and you work out of your basement?
Not that far off. So I posted that as my picture, and a lot of fellas just saw that part and didn't pick up on the humor. A lot of them liked it, but some thought that I was a Russian troll and
You're accused of being...
They were starting to Article 5 me, and so I was kind of a little bit worried, but it was
NAFO has an
funny.
Article 5, just like NATO.
Yeah, we do. NAFO Article 5.
You do have some instances where somebody on Twitter will say something to you about like, oh, you anti-Russian people just tweet from your basements and you're a cowards, and then you get to respond.
Oh yeah, that is fun.
That seems...
Oh, my favorite, yeah, when they're like, why don't you NAFOs just volunteer to go to the front line? And so I like to share some of my pictures of me at the front line and say, here I am, big boy, or something like that, because they hate that.
Here I am, big boy.
Yeah, but the great part is that those usually get incredible interactions from the fellas, which is great because it makes the Votniks that much angrier, and they never respond, because in general, they never respond to me.
Right.
Speaking of which, I was going to share with you all of the different ththings that I've been called on the internet.
This could be a fun game.
Do you want to guess?
No, that sounds bad. How about you say you say things, some made up, some real, and I have to guess if it's a real insult or a fake insult that you just made up.
Okay, this game's called Have I Been Called?
Have I been called that?
A Nazi.
Yes.
Have I been called?
Was that right?
Yeah, that's
okay,
right.
That's right.
Of course. That wasn't easy. That was a practice one.
That's the example.
Have I been called terrorist?
Yes.
Yes. A socialist?
No.
I don't know. Maybe I have, but I don't know.
It's not a good enough insult.
It's a lot easier for me to think of things I have been called. Mm-hmm. So
you have to be creative for the other side of this. Have I been called a wiener? Could be.
Maybe.
A raging dildo. I don't know.
Neo-Nazi loving whore.
I'm gonna go with true.
I have.
Yeah, that sounds true.
Have I been called a warmonger?
This also sounds true.
I don't think I have, actually.
So. Okay.
I probably have, but I don't think I have. Have I been called a war whore?
War whore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with true.
Yes, I have. I actually like that one.
War whore. I think that's a Steven Spielberg movie.
War whore.
Pretty sure that's a Steven Spielberg movie.
Yeah. Fat dyke.
Fat dyke.
Have I been called that?
I'm gonna go with true.
About 4 hours ago.
4 hours ago. What, on Twitter or?
Yeah.
Fascist Barbie.
Okay, we both know no one's ever called me Barbie.
That's Klaus Barbie. Come on.
I think that's all that I can think of right now. I know that there's more. Here's the thing about Russia and Russian supporters. But whatever they say is the truth, usually the exact opposite happened. And the same goes for if they call you a name, it's because they're actually that.
It's projection.
Yeah. But I will hang on to the war whore one.
You like war whore?
I do. It's clever. It's fun.
It sounds fun.
It's fun.
You could write a song about war whore.
Or someone wants to write a song about
me.
You
once tweeted.
Did you just go through all my tweets?
I looked through your Twitter. Me, the moment the MAGA bro sitting at the bar decides to explain what's really going on in Ukraine because he's done his research. What did the MAGA bro think was really going on in Ukraine?
Even if I weren't a war whore for Ukraine, as they say.
I think I know the title of this video. War whore tells all.
That is quite a clickbait title if I've ever heard one.
If you got a better one, I'm all ears.
You can you have my permission to use war horror in the title. Oh God. I feel like there are enough positive things about me on the internet for my kids to look up eventually that there can be one bad title like that.
I'm the one they get. Wait till you're 18.
What were we just saying?
What do the MAGAs think is going on?
Oh yeah, it's hard for me to even say it aloud because it's so fucking stupid and the thing is like you can actually, that I could be face to face with someone who says like, this is happening in Ukraine, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, here's a photo of me doing, 2 weeks ago, doing exactly what you said, or like showing you or whatever, like factually, like you're respecting me enough to have this conversation with me. I'm showing you this picture, showing you that it's incorrect. And then to still be like, well, I don't know. I've done my research. I know mine. And then at that point, I'm like, well, you're just fucking stupid. So I just don't even bother.
This Facebook group I'm in.
Right. Like,
we know it's true.
Okay. What's your source? Trust me, bro.
Can we talk about the Wagner group? The Wagner? How do we say that? My German
just say
tells me
Wagner.
Wagner, but they're not German, so.
Wagner, I think is how they say it.
Wagner?
So I think that's how it's pronounced.
What was the deal? Did they do a coup? Was it a fake coup?
It was a coup.
Was it a real fake coup?
It was a coup.
But then it stopped.
It didn't just stop. There were some negotiations, and Putin was scared out of his britches and probably pooped his pants again because he's known for doing that.
He's known for pooping his pants.
Yeah. I mean, just look up the hashtag Putin pooped his pants,
Putin poop pants.
There's a lot.
Poop pants.
Of factual information there.
So Yevgeny Prigozhin is the head of the Wagner group.
Yes.
And him and his buddies.
The terrorist group.
Yeah, they're mercenaries.
They're a terrorist. I mean, they're a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's the UN or whoever, but they've actually been designated as that.
On the front lines. Weren't they the first group to invade Ukraine, right?
In 2014, yes.
Yeah.
They genocide all over they murder the hell out of people in Africa, people in Ukraine, all over the place.
They're in Syria.
Yeah.
They fought American troops in Syria at one point. Did not go well for them.
Here's the thing. The U.S. has the most powerful military in the world. Russia claims that they have the second most powerful military in the world, and the rest of the world has believed it until now. The U.S. is light years beyond because of our budget and the amount of money
and professionalism and the lack of
all
corruption and things like that. Our corruption is on a different level of corruption. It's like Lockheed Martin getting away with millions on plane things. It's not the level of corruption Russia has.
A little bit of money and having zoos at your presidential mansion.
Yeah, Lockheed doesn't have their own zoos. But anyway, they've been fighting in Ukraine, and
they're a terrorist organization,
They suddenly start driving towards Moscow.
That was a hell of a weekend on Twitter.
It was fun. Yeah.
I actually was looking back. I got a report or something I found analytics on Twitter, and I was like, God, what was that? Why did I have a huge spike? And it's because I had tweeted something about the great Russian coup of 2023 and what we learned, and it was Putin is weak, Russia is weak, Prigozhin's weak, whatever. And the Vodniks got so pissed. But what they didn't realize is that every time they would comment on this, it would boost the post. And so it ended up being seen 170,000 times or something like that. They made it viral because they were so mad.
The Streisand effect.
But so it was great. I got a lot of new followers thanks to their outrage. The thing is, yes, it ended quickly. There was no ban. They killed. I mean, there were Russian soldiers killed. Yeah, that doesn't sound that crazy because Putin literally I heard a term for it the other day where they send in 100 soldiers because they know that only 10 are actually going to make it through and the 90 are going to get mowed down.
Was that Brannigan strategy? It's a Futurama reference. By the way, this dog just farted. I don't know if you've noticed that, but
I didn't.
It's coming.
It's coming.
So there's a sudden
Putin makes laws to prevent people from even saying bad stuff about him. So it's not over. The thing is, he's clearly threatened by Prigozhin. and all the money behind Prigozhin with that organization that owns the Wagner Group.
So do you think Prigozhin was actually trying to do a coup, or is this just like a show of force to be like, hey, Putin, I could do this, and then he got a bunch of money or something like that? Because it like abruptly ended, and then he went to like Belarus or something like that, right?
He was supposed to, last I heard he wasn't even there yet. He was still in St. Petersburg or something.
They're
I don't
body
know.
doubles.
The whole thing is, no matter what we want to call it or what it actually was or the intention, it made them all look weak as hell.
And they're fighting each other.
They're fighting each other, and it's not that that's shocking, because we knew that you can't be like the #1 producer of propaganda in the world, and then people be shocked to find out they're like, what? You're not as strong or, whatever, as everybody thought that you were?
Wait, you mean he doesn't wrestle bears? I thought he did.
Have you ever looked up, I saw a blog post once that was like, about like times that he's hired photographers to come have them take pictures of him.
I mean, I've
it's
seen
fucking
pictures of
weird.
him shirtless on a horse.
That's
like
one
that.
of them.
Yeah.
But then like he has them like come out and like take pictures of him like wrestling with his dogs and doing. It's weird.
We should talk about my novel I wrote where Sarah Palin and Vladimir Putin have a love affair and a love child situation.
Was it like a romance novel?
It's a parody of Air Force One, where the Russians take over the president's plane, but Sarah Palin.
Is it available on
It's on
cassette?
Amazon.
Is it on cassette?
There's no audiobook version. Do you want to record it for me?
Sure.
Could be fun. We could do a reading. I feel like I predicted some of this shit.
Wait, that means I have to read it.
Yeah, it does.
Damn it.
I wrote this in like 2010. I was like, it's Air
Did you
Force
really?
One, but Sarah Palin's the president.
Interesting.
Oh, that was very interesting. Cluster bombs in the news. We might send cluster bombs.
They're already there.
Everyone's mad that there might be cluster bombs.
So Russia's been using cluster bombs.
Does it turn out that Russia's been using cluster bombs?
Yeah.
This whole time?
Yeah.
How do you know?
So
How do you know that?
did you look at my tweets?
No, I never looked at your Twitter all afternoon.
So, because I seen it, Jeff, we collected some of because they're spent casing, their shells,
Bomblets?
yeah, sure, all over Ukraine. And so we even collected a few from some residential areas for a museum that one of my friends is going to eventually.
Museum of War Crimes.
Yep.
Is that what it's actually called?
Well, there's not a name for it yet, but it'll be something like that. But the thing, and I was even just listening to a speaker today talk about cluster munitions agreement or whatever that was established at some point.
Which the U.S. is not a signatory to.
Yeah. One of the main reasons why that was even put into place is because of Russia, and because Russia using cluster munitions in different countries.
U.S. used them too.
For years and years.
Vietnam.
Right.
We're all over that.
Right. But what Russia's doing, they use them intentionally on residential and on civilian areas, because their idea is if they hit the different cities, and they can kill or maim the families and the children and the wives of the soldiers, that the soldiers will be too sad and they'll leave and they won't. And so that's literally their strategy. And so, and I mean, Russia's been using them for a long, long time, and they've been using them in Ukraine. They're using them right now in one of the cities. There's physical evidence of it. I sat next to it in a car. Didn't know what it was at first. A little bit scary. What a life.
F-16s are coming. We learned today. A lot of countries are donating their old equipment, which is a little bit of a we don't want to pay to maintain this crap forever. And that we can
Well, in the U.S., we're giving them our old stuff. And then the bills are not actually giving Ukraine money or buying new stuff.
We're giving them
our old shit, and then we're paying ourselves
to
make new shit.
stuff to replace it.
Yeah.
And we would have to spend money to strip those down and get rid of them or keep maintaining them. And a lot of countries, like Poland, has MiGs from back when they were Soviet. And they're like, you want all our old MiGs? And America will give us new stuff or sell us new stuff. But you get to take our older MiGs. So it's a little bit of a garage sale we're doing.
Yeah, but at the same time, Russia should be that much scared. We're scared because now everybody else is restocking and getting all this new shit.
Did you see, what was it, the May Day parade, where they usually parade thousands
Victory
of tanks?
Day.
Victory
I made
Day.
a meme about it. Victory Parade was one tank.
And it was an old tank.
It was a museum tank. And then Russia comes back and they're like, well, people said not to go over the top last year, so now we're not going over the top. We're just the biggest crook of shit. But yeah,
Not that
there
they're
was like
just running out of tanks.
right, like
Yeah, I saw that Ukraine has more tanks in their army now than Russia does. It's like Ukraine is like smaller than Texas. Russia is the largest country on Earth.
the thing is like most of Russia is a wasteland and
Yeah,
a toilet bowl. But
toilet bowl.
that's actually way
Speaking
too
of
fancy.
toilet bowl, I have something for this. Are you ready?
Yes. Aww,
If you would like to do a toilet shot,
I would love to do a toilet
would you
shot.
love to do a toilet shot with me?
If there are any Russian viewers of this, they might be a little bit confused. So where you go potty in the hole outside,
Oh, right. See, this is a thing
we
in the
go.
house.
It's a. We'll call it a machine.
Okay, yeah. It's a sort of a machine. Now, when the power goes out, do these continue to work?
Toilets?
Yeah, you know, for the Russians, and they think if the
Okay,
power goes out, would it still work?
cut.
Say it's a machine. It's a
Yeah,
machine.
they do still
It
work.
doesn't need electricity though.
You do have to have running water though. That is the caveat. So
Or
that's probably why
what if you have just a bowl of water from your spring outside? Would it still work then?
a spring. Spring.
It would still work.
I'm gonna take a picture. That was great. I'm so proud of
They
you.
were a gift.
Ooh, yeah, get the vodka bottle in there. If you had toilets like that, you could just like sit and hold hands while you did your business.
Couples toilets. They should make them heart-shaped. Oh, I had this. This is a belt you can wear. It says locked and loaded, and you put your cans in there.
Oh my
And they look like bullets. Now, I got this for a bachelor party. We were at the beach, and one of my bros was full of cans.
Gross.
And a lady, this was in South Carolina, this lady came up to him and was like, why do you need all this ammunition? It's literally like 5 beers.
Ma'am.
She's like, oh, I thought you had all these guns and stuff. I was like, he does have guns, just not right now.
I want to take a selfie of us doing this. Hold on. Aw,
Oh, oh God.
this is not. Stop scratching.
No scratch. You could take
Look
a video.
cute. You looked so cute.
You were.
Oh, there's a good girl. Okay.
She's trying to lick my shot.
Third toast. So appropriate for the toilet bowl shot. Za Lyubov. Can you translate that?
For love.
To love, Jeff.
To love.
Za Lyubov. The toilets. Suck it, Wagner. Ma'am. Ma'am.
That's just her leg. Not anymore. You can't ma'am a 4-month-old. It's not appropriate.
Miss. Oh, I'm
so
sorry.
scary.
You do not have my permission to soundbite that. I remember asking some of my friends, I was like, man, there's like some of the towns like look so much better. And like there's been so many improvements, all this. Like, where'd all this money come from? And they're like, Zelensky. And they said, it was always there. It's just going to the right thing now.
Просто такая технология, да? Новейшая. Наномосты. Прозрачные и хрустальные. Шутка ли? 4 миллиарда из госбюджета.
It's not
you know.
going to the Swiss bank account. of
Yeah,
the
or
minister
in
of
someone's
whatever.
pockets or whatever. So that's not just like that wasn't just the show. That actually was happening and is happening. And it was deeply, thanks to Russia, it was deeply rooted in Ukraine, just like their Russian language and a lot of their bullshit. So
Bolshevik, I think is the word you're looking for
no,
there.
Bolshevik, not bullshit.
Pretty sure.
Close, yeah. Despite whatever bullshit
Shooting
they want to
down
come up with,
airliners.
they want to say that it's attacks on Russian speakers, which I'll say it right now, and I'm so tired of even saying this, but that is of all the Russian propaganda, the biggest crock of shit.
What is it?
The idea that Russia's saying that Ukraine had been genociding or attacking Russian speakers in eastern Ukraine. Every Ukrainian understands and can speak Russian. because their media, so much stuff is in Russian. So many Ukrainians speak Russian on a daily basis throughout the country. I lived right in the center of the country. In my village, we spoke a mixture of Ukrainian, Russian, and Surjik, which is like a slang or local dialect. However, it's kind of a mixture of the two. So the idea that like Russian speakers are being targeted in Ukraine is just it's asinine. Like it's like because there are Russian speakers in the western part of Ukraine, which is like the nationalistic side.
It'd be like saying Kansas is attacking people who speak Missouri.
Kind of, sure. Yeah,
to stretch the metaphor.
Yeah. If either language was ever suppressed, it was Ukrainian. And I know that firsthand. I know that because I would be in situations where I would try to explain in certain areas of the country. I would explain like, I'm sorry, I only studied Ukrainian. Can you speak Ukrainian for me? Now I understand better that in some cases they couldn't because they hadn't been speaking Ukrainian since they were children. They could understand it if either language was ever suppressed in Ukraine. Not if. The only language that was suppressed in Ukraine is Ukrainian. It is insulting to imply that to the Ukrainians who do speak Russian because you're also implying that they support Russia because they're speaking Russian. Most of the time, they didn't choose that. That's just what they speak in their region. To them, I've met so many Ukrainians who are trying to speak Ukrainian now, but like they just haven't for so many years. They can understand it, but just try to get in that habit and remember all these, complex verbs, all these things.
Перше лице держави посилає людей в жопу російською мовою, якщо для цього існують наші прекрасні літературні слова, такі як дупа.
On a more fun note, I wanted to show you this bulletproof vest that I brought with me. This actually has nothing to do with Ukraine. I just brought this because we're in Kansas City, Kansas.
Spoken like a true Johnson County Olathe
Shut up,
woman.
Jeff.
So it's heavy. Do you have the
so these are do you have the what?
The like ceramic plate?
These are ceramic. So this is actually pretty light. You wanna lift it?
Oh my god.
I know. They are ceramic plates. These are only level 3.
What does a level 3 mean?
I don't know,
It'll
Jeff.
Stop a rifle round?
I think that the levels have to do with the size of round, but also like the number of rounds it can take the impact. The metal plates, if something hits it, it just reflects off of it, but it can also like shoot up in your face. These actually absorb it, and you're gonna get the
you'll get the force.
Yeah, you're gonna get the shit kicked out of you, the wind kicked out of you.
So what do we have on?
So this was actually loaned to me. This vest was loaned to me by.
You're supposed to give this back?
By a friend. Yes, I'm going to.
Like before you left the country, you're supposed to give it back, or?
No. This was loaned to me by an American friend.
Oh, I see.
But then when I was over there,
you stole this from a Ukrainian soldier, and you won't give it back. I gotcha.
No, I didn't. But. So one of the kind of the things that's common, I guess, over there is like if you help people anywhere, not just on the front, but like they give you some of their patches and stuff. And so like some of these patches all these patches were given to me by either most of them are by groups that I helped or by close friends. Like these ones are just their like call signs, which Revo, which is an alcohol energy drink.
Oh,
which is
Four Loko, basically.
Yeah, but better. And I love it.
Real Four Loko anymore.
Well, I wish we would get Revo here, my darling. And then this is Zub, which is, what does it mean, Jeff?
I don't know.
Okay, you said it confidently. Okay.
I don't know what it means.
That means tooth. He's one of my friends.
One shot, one.
Rus. One shot, one Rus. Ukropochka. So she's Ukrainian. I think ukrop is like dill, but her like nickname is Romashka, the woman who gave this to me, and she was a nurse before the war and volunteered and joined them. She's in her 50s. She joined the military and she works in the morgue. And there's a really sad story behind that, but I don't want to talk about it right now. So you can check out my social media and hear that story because it's devastating.
Social media, do you want to plug that now?
Yeah, you can look me up on Facebook under Paige Barrows or on Instagram and Twitter under @PaigeInKansas. Check out any of my, because I tell a lot of stories about a lot of these people that are on here. So yeah, the rest of these are different groups. This one is actually one of my good friends from the village that I lived in. We've been friends since I lived there. He's married to one of my closest girlfriends in my village.
This puppy has hiccups, by the way.
She's got
the
all sorts of
strongest
stuff going on.
hiccups. Look at these
Aw.
hiccups.
Ruslan, he's in Kurd, which is basically like SWAT. And his group was one of the groups that helped clear Kyiv last year. What are you trying to read over here?
This guy.
With God for Ukraine? Or with God
is
for...
God.
Zboham, yeah. Bog is God. With God
So in
for
Russian,
Ukraine.
So in Russian, God is Bog.
Russian sucks.
Я не собирался быть президентом, но был мне голос свыше. Встань и иди.
И ты встань, иди и проголосуй.
За Нестора Дьяченко. Ради Бога.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I know you studied it. The language
I'm not
sucks
Russian.
It sucks so hard.
I'm not pro-Russia.
Do you want to try some other chocolates, Chef? Look, I brought these.
What do we got?
It's a half-eaten tray.
Which ones did you eat already? You didn't.
I didn't eat them. I shared them with people. So actually, when I moved back from Ukraine, I was on the plane on the runway, and we were stuck there for like an hour and a half, and people were getting so pissed. And so I had this exact kind of thing of chocolates, and I like broke them out to try to like comfort people. Because I was so excited to be going
like
home.
some comfort chocolates?
Yes, and they're like, no, I'm fine. But
Which
I
one
think
should
I'll have these.
Which one should I have?
I think I'll have this, I don't know, I think I'll have this little hut here. Maybe have the dancers?
Ooh, dancers.
Traditionally
Look at
Ukrainian
this,
dancers?
Here are the dancers. It's quite a split maneuver.
It is. I actually saw some
Can't do that.
traditionally Ukrainian dancers at an event I went to.
I can put my foot behind my head. Would you like to see that?
Yes.
Right now? You want to
Yep.
see that? Let me really limber up for this. And there it is. Whablam.
Have you always been able to do that, or did you just like somehow in your 30s discover
No,
like...
I've been doing that. When I was in high school, I would be wearing jeans, standing up, wearing jeans, and I would just do it like in the hallway in high school.
That's so weird, Jeff.
Is it weird? I can only do it with my right leg.
Yes,
I
it's
can't
weird.
do it lefty. Lefty is like, you gotta really reach for it. Can you put your foot behind your head, baby? Or are you gonna fart on me if you try that one? Because that's happened twice already.
Oh, that's smaller than I thought. It's a wide one, too.
It is. And then it's fun.
Hi!
Right.
Oh, hi, pretty girl.
Right.
Oh, pretty girl.
She'll lick the inside of your nose.
Don't lick my teeth.
No, up here.
Oh,
She's got a snaggle tooth. I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't.
She will lick your nose and then hook that tooth in there.
Oh my god, if she catches it on my nose
She
ring,
might
that'll
do
be
that.
my nightmare.
Fine.
I'm thinking about all the holes your dog could get her tooth stuck in. In my ears.
Pepper, don't get in the holes. So anyway, could I get my name on an artillery shell, or what's this like? How's this work?
Yep, I actually just had that done for one of my friends.
This
For a
seems like a
donor.
good thing to write on an artillery shell.
I can absolutely have that written on a mortar for you. And I actually just got a really cool video sent to me that I'm excited to show to someone.
What's it cost to get your name on a mortar shell?
How much you got, Jeff? I'll take one puppy.
Oh, I do have a puppy.
Yes.
Street value
She's
$250.
There are groups that do that, like, more officially for fundraising. I reached out to some of my friends because I was like, hey, I have a donor who's like been incredibly supportive, and could you do something for me? And so they did. I'm also helping them already and have been. Everybody wins, I guess. So they say Slava Nazi, which means glory to the nation. And that's one of the phrases that
Gets people in trouble.
it doesn't get people in trouble. It's just one of the phrases that people that don't understand language like to go, they're saying Nazis, which is fucking stupid because it doesn't mean that. Just because you don't understand the language doesn't mean you can just decide what they're saying. And so the phrase is Slava Nazi, and the response, just like glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. Slava Nazi, smert ворогам, which is like death to the invaders.
Trump said he could end the Ukraine war in a day. What do you think his plan is? What's his one-day plan?
I'm gonna go pee and I'm gonna let you come up with a different question.
Oh,
Remember
right.
when we were fully prepared to have a chemistry?
How did our chemistry go? think we want access to that device there, Pepsi. Pep.
Come here.
Yeah, not tasteless tummies.
This one's for the fellas.
Hey.
Hey. The NAFO fellas, Jeff. Don't be
NAFO.
weird. My little goth puppy.
Goth?
Yes, my little goth puppy.
She's not goth.
Yes, she is. Look at her. Oh. Tongue in the mouth. Nope.
Well, that's what babushkas got to deal with while they're putting on their scarves.
Jeff, I'm not putting this on me. I'm putting it on you.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, let's do this.
Okay,
I'm drinking toilet vodka. I'm getting babushka'd.
Bobbed.
I'm getting bobbed. I got my vada and I got my baba.
My vada.
Are we doing more toilets?
Yes.
Yeah, I can toilet it up a little bit more. I don't gotta drive. Turns out I live here.
Me too.
Seems like that might happen.
We're gonna stay on the couch tonight. I'm going to sleep with Aaron.
There's 2 bedrooms upstairs.
I'm going to sleep with Aaron.
I don't sleep with Aaron. So I sleep in the guest bedroom.
Oh, you are married.
Yeah. She goes to bed at 9 p.m. I go to bed at 3 a.m.
I think the 4th is to men.
Oh, the shot?
Which means I gotta stand up.
What are they in order? We've done love. We've done
No,
friendship.
the first one is Zazustrich, which is to our meeting.
Okay.
The second one is Druha za druha, which is
Friendship.
to friendship. Third one
Yes,
is
love.
Zayubov. And then the fourth one
So
is...
you meet, you're friends, you're in love, you get divorced. 4th one's divorce.
No, the fourth one's to men, and I have to stand up.
What does that mean?
To men.
I am quite outnumbered in this house at the moment.
Yeah, you could use a lot of bitches in here. This, I have a couple at home, but this particular one was given to me as a gift from my friend Oля, who's basically like my Ukrainian mom. She's not basically, she's my Ukrainian mom.
Okay.
Stand up.
But boost me.
Oh, I know you can sit down, I guess. See me on camera. Just get my butt in the shit here. Okay, so I'm told that younger women will leave it like a little looser on the front, but older women like
I'm pretty
yourself
old, so.
will tuck back this part.
At what age are you a babushka, you know? 36?
Basically, yeah.
Why didn't we do this to begin, you know?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm regretting it.
Alright, I'm gonna just record right now a bunch of reaction shots.
Can we start over?
No, I'll just record a bunch of reaction shots right now. I'll just cut them in throughout. Oh, that was very interesting. I'll cut that in early.
I did a really good job with that. Oh, here, I didn't tuck it. Here, your glasses kind of screwed up the top.
Should I go with no glasses?
Your mustache, Johnny. First I just want you to sound like
Конечно.
I can't breathe. Your poor puppy's like, what the fuck is happening?
Puppy.
Alright, be angry. That was disapproval.
Yeah, okay. Anger, okay. Oh, I'm mad now.
I guess it would just be like a regular resting face, because that's just ain't, Russians.
What? I don't have a resting bitch face. What is my resting face?
Judgmental, maybe?
I have a resting judgment face?
I guess.
That sounds right, I guess.
I don't know if it's like your natural face, or just like you've done it for so long that now your face sticks like that.
It's very judgmental. It's resting teacher face.
I wish you had left your mustache down, because I would have.
You want me to let it down?
I would have looked at you.
I could try to make that happen.
No, stop! I hate it. Put it back up.
How's that? Is that better? Do I look like a Cossack?
That's what I was going for.
I could make it go down. It wants to go up. It naturally wants to curl.
That's what he said. Oh, well, that was funny until you said the curl part.
I want to make this last longer.
Oh, that's much smaller than I thought.
Funny. That's the most response I can get from you. That's how you react when I'm funny? That's all I get? Sad. Real sad, Jeff.
You want me to actually cry?
Yeah.
You want me to cry? Zany. Could be an emotion. I don't know.
Depressed.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, because you looked a little Russian there, which is for sure depressed.
I looked Russian.
Yeah, you did. Because you looked sad with that on your head,
down.
to be honest. Well, yeah, they can't afford those. Overwhelmed. I love it. These are reactions to things that I've said. So I'm loving you can
cut this back in later. You're gonna be talking
I'm sure
about,
you felt all of it.
You're gonna be talking about like, so I was talking to my mom about, and it'll just cut to me being like, oh my god. That's what's gonna happen in the editing later.
Shocked.
Whoa.
No, but like real shocked. Okay, that was better.
Just
scared. It's the same as shocked.
It is. I never said I was an actor.
You told me to tell you emotions.
I did. I did say I would be good at it.
Alright, I think you have enough emotions.
I probably have too many emotions to count. So, do you have any more stories you want to...
Okay.
What do you want
stories about sad
for?
stuff, stories about happy stuff.
What do you want to share? What do you want reported and put on the internet forever? You have any funny, like, fart stories? I don't know. Hiccups, farts, dogs making you bleed? How do you say hiccup in Ukrainian?
No clue.
You have no idea.
They probably don't have a word for it because they're
be
stronger and
That can't
they
be
don't
right. I'm gonna
have
look
weak
it up
shit
right now.
like hiccups.
All mammals have hiccups. It is hikavka. Look how I properly didn't use the G. Hikavka.
I'm so proud of you.
Did it, I've learned.
Is that what
Now,
you
I
want?
might just be a simple grandma, but...
So one time I was sitting at a bus stop about a year and a half after I had been living in in my village. And I was sitting with a couple of young students of mine and they were like, Miss Page, do you know what the Babas say about you? And I was like, do tell. You have a boyfriend in the US and he works security for celebrities.
Oh, interesting.
And I said,
that is not true.
That's correct. I absolutely have a boyfriend who works security for celebrities in the US. And I let that one just lie because how the hell
You know
did
Kanye
they
West?
even come up with that?
Well, I'm dating Kanye East. I remember in 6th grade, my English teacher, there were rumors that she was dating The Undertaker, the WWF.
Oh, lucky bitch.
She wasn't.
You don't have to
These
explain
These were clearly, obviously stupid made-up rumors by middle schoolers.
Oh.
She was a cool teacher and would not make anyone sit in the front row. The front row is lame, right? You want to sit in the front row.
Yeah, totally.
So she would like intentionally make it so no one sat in the front row. When she's like reading to the class, she would sit on the chair in the front row with her butt on the desk, feet in the chair.
Where did you go to school? Because I had a teacher like that too. Man, it must have been those young 25-year-old sassy fucking teachers that just did this because I definitely
25, 30, something like that.
definitely had a teacher that was like putting her butt on the chair.
Right. So
or the desk.
if you're in the second seat, which I was, and she's in front of you.
All right, Jeff, is this about to get weird?
Yes.
All right.
So her feet are in the chair, and her crotch is about here to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she fell over backwards, legs in the air, out of that chair. And I told this to somebody in another class.
Oh, that
"Man,
kind of
she
went my
did
nose,
this."
Jeff.
That's what she said.
Is that the day you became a man?
That was the day in 6th grade I became a man. No, but I told the story at class, or I told the story at like lunch to another kid, and he was like, she fell over backwards in our class too. Like he was in a different version of it. She has done this repeatedly. She like sits in the front row, puts her crotch in a kid's face, and then falls over backwards. It was like, this is like a pattern.
Oh, because she was doing it
does.
on the tiny desk?
Yeah.
Okay, well that was just, so she was dumb. She was a dumb slut.
Well, she was doing it on purpose.
When I posted the picture of like the NAFO dog reveal,
Right.
like I was added to a list called Putin's cum guzzlers.
This is my
Which is
cum guzzler face.
which is honestly so funny. The description is those.
Would you like me to read it?
Putin's cum guzzlers. Those who are insatiable for Putin's salty loads. I'm still
Is that an iambic pentameter? For those who are insatiable
For Putin's salty loads.
No, it's not pentameter, it's an heptameter.
I need to do some behind the scenes stuff.
Which emotion should I have right now?
just that one.
Is that a good one?
Alright, now I'm gonna make sure I look good. Alright, scoot up, because my head looks fucking huge next to you. Oh, this is good lighting, though. You see Ian with you in the fucking back.
What?
It just suits you.
Do you want me cross-eyed or no?
Obviously.